Oh, what a day that was. Shopping here, shopping there, things to do. Sometimes I really wish I would keep the Sabbath to have a day that's holy, to have a day to relax. But let us get to the real topic I want to talk about today. It's about my experiences at former workplaces. My first mini job was in 2017 when I had to mix different car colors, and I really liked that. It was so far away, I had to drive maybe for 2 hours, including the waiting time to get there, to even get there, just to get there. And it was fine, but the distance. And talking about distance, I would say that I was in a long distance relationship at that time, fitting to the first fact. And as it always is with long distance relationships, they won't work out justifyingly. She was the reason I had my first mini job to get enough money to fly to Russia. It sounds crazy because it didn't make sense from start to end. So I had to break it off like a human being with reason would do. My second job was over 5 years later. I had something I would call a depression. I would self-diagnose again, and I worked for 2 weeks at some burger shop for 20 hours a week. After 3 or 4 days, I had to really start the whole business on my own in the first hour before the other workers came. I had to know about 4 or 5 kinds of cheese, different sauces, and so on and so forth. The boss was very kind, but not patient enough. I mean, I was completely new. So yes, he said that I would do these 2 weeks and then it's over. I don't know why he gave that little time, but okay, he wants to keep his business up, but I think that it's also an obligation to give some time to adjust. And then a few months later, I started for the first time in retail as a cashier. Not originally, but I got into it and they were satisfied with my performances. There was one rather young boss who always boss here, boss there, but many things had to do with the different bosses. This one was really arrogant, I'd say. He said things like, I can do this because I'm allowed to do this, I'm allowed to do that. His favorite word was warning. Warning, warning, warning again. In German we would say, warning is Warnung, but always Abmahnung, which is a bit more serious, which is a work-like term for a warning. I didn't get one, and when he explained his plan for the new shift for us workers a few minutes before we went in to our different positions, I would always sit down and stare at the floor. I'm really not an open person, as I'd already said. And it felt like I was the only one to really stand up to him and say something about him and not just gossip around like everyone else did. And the funny part about it is that 1 year after we started, we had a squad of maybe 20 new workers when we opened this shop. Maybe 3 or 4 were left 1 year after it. I'd say that says a lot about how things went. The other boss were very cool, but he wasn't really. I mean, I could talk to him as a person, but when it's about business, it wasn't very fine. And yes, let's go to the next one. If I don't remember anything serious about it, yes. Okay, after 6 months I left the first retail job because if I don't understand him and he doesn't understand me, although nobody really did. One thing that I remember, there was one day after our, let's say, evening or late shift, where he would call us up and talk to all of us. We're standing in a circle after 9 o'clock. I mean, that's fine. Not that I have something against it. For him to call different points out. And as it always goes with somebody who's a bit too arrogant, who lets his position get to his head, he only had things to say like, you did this wrong and that wrong, and please keep an eye on this and keep an eye on that, but no praise, no nothing. And he said jokingly that it's just my task to pretend that I do something, but I don't really. And this statement really shocked me, which made me to leave this place. Then the second place in retail was a health food shop, and this was fine too, but it was a bit far away. I worked there for 1 year and nearly 8 months, also in part-time. It was a bit exhausting still, because I had to do the cashier job and then take care of the products, pull them forward, as you always do in retail. Not always, but often enough at the same time. So up here and there, and sometimes controlling the expiration dates of the different products was a bit too much. And then I had to control the different milk products, and there was no patience. All of a sudden they talked disrespectfully to me, and that was 2 or 3 or 4 times. And then I said to myself, okay, I'll quit in a few months, and so I did. The next one, where I am right now, I talked something about it in the last video, should be. Yes, that's my first video for today. Let's see how far I get. Bye to you all.